So, Wayne, thank you for taking time out to join us this evening here on Ossett United TV. How are you, first of all?
Yeah, good. Just finished work. So
excellent. Is that your lovely wife in the background there?
Don't get her on camera. You'll break
Bless
it.
You. Bless you. Okay, well, just want to ask you a couple of questions because we've got some good news on new signings fronts. First of all, as announced yesterday by the club, Mateusz Zaniewski has joined us from Goal to basically provide competition for the goalkeeper spots. What can you tell us about Mateusz?
That has been on our radar for a while. I've liked him whenever I've seen him play. He played particularly well against us in the pre-season friendly against Goal. So somebody we've known about for a while. We just felt like with Max's injury, we're not quite sure with the length of time with that, but we're hearing 4 to 6 weeks before he can start training again. Really, that only left us with young Jake Teal, who's doing absolutely fine. He's doing a good job, but we just feel like we needed to add a bit more experience into that position. And God forbid, had Jake Teal got injured, then you're down to 0 keepers, and a big problem to solve. So, it just made sense to do something. And like I said, Mateusz is 6'4", 6'5", great presence. Like most keepers, mad as a box of frogs. But really, a really good keeper. And they'll, not quite decided whether he'll go straight in tomorrow night or not. But if he does, he'll show what we already know, which is that he'll prove to be a good signing for us. So yeah, looking forward to working with him. Like I said, I have tried to have a nibble and sign him a couple of times previously at other clubs. Didn't quite happen, but he was keen to join, which is always good. Obviously knows it's a step up, and I think he's anxious and keen to come and show everybody what he's about.
And a better option than pulling Jay Miller out of retirement to go between the sticks.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. He'd have had to take that beach ball from under his shirt first and foremost. You can't go diving around with that, can you? So, yeah, better option than Jay for sure.
Excellent. We do love Jay, though, don't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, Jay's a great bloke, and Jay's going to be important with Matty and obviously Jake Teal as they continue through the season with us. So. Obviously, we asked Jay's opinion, in terms of when we were thinking about keepers that we needed to have a look at, and Jay knows Mateusz as well, and he would have the same opinion as Chick and I, that it'd be a good option for us. I have to give a lot of credit to Goal as well, by the way that they handled it. They were fantastic in their professionalism, and speaking with Mike Carmody, their manager, they were really good with it. So credit to them. It's allowed us to get him signed before tomorrow's game, should we decide that we're going to pitch him in.
Okay, fantastic. Well, moving on, we've got a little bit of an exclusive now for the supporters, because Mateusz isn't the only player that's joining us. I believe we're signing a player called Henry Nash from York City, Wayne. What can you tell us about Henry? Who is he? What's his background? What's his position?
Henry's not actually connected to York City. He's been out there on a bit of a trial. I think he's played a couple of under-23s games for them, obviously trying to earn himself a deal. It was Steve Watson that originally tipped me off about Henry, and said that he's a good lad, and he wasn't sure whether they would be offering him anything. So he put me on the scent of Henry. He's obviously since, I think maybe before York, he was on trial at Chester. And I know that they were particularly interested, from what I'm told. Their joint manager, Bernard Marley, were really taken with him, and they did want to sign him. But for one reason or another, it didn't quite work out. So he's been training and trialling with some serious football clubs, which obviously shows the calibre of the player. He's been in Stoke City's academies for years, so he's obviously had a good upbringing in football terms. I've seen endless videos of him, spoken to a few people who know him well. As has Agent Rion and Agent Archie, they've been speaking to lads at York when he were training there to find out a bit more info on him, and all the feedback is very, very good. The attraction with him is the fact that he's versatile. He can play in 2 or 3 different positions equally well. Defender primarily, right back, centre half, but he can also play CDM, if required. He's technically good. He's quite an old school defender. He's tough. He puts his body on the line, but he can play. And then obviously that again, it ticks all the boxes in terms of what we're looking for from defenders. He's 6 foot, so he gives us a little bit of a added presence. I'm excited by this lad. I think I think we've got in there quite quickly. Clearly, he's been pitching himself at higher levels. For one reason or another, it hasn't quite worked. But I'm excited and keen to get the lad on board, and I'm pretty sure that he'll prove to everybody what a good player he is. From what I've seen, he does look accomplished. He looks technically good. And what, like I've said there, what I like about him is he's prepared to, throw himself into challenges and put his body on the line and, win his personal battles. And I think at times we've been lacking that in defensive areas, particularly with the injuries.
Yeah, so great addition, but you've touched on the injuries there. Obviously, we've mentioned Max Durnley already. Number of players, and I really feel for you, Wayne, because I think that, you've lost a lot of key players in key areas in all of the time that you've been at Ossett United. What's the latest update with the likes of Harry Gagan, with the likes of Jack Cowgill? I know Archie Whitfield's had a knock, for example. Eddie Cass is obviously a long-term, we know about that. What's the update on the injury front?
Positive. Like I said to you at Mosley, most of these injuries were small injuries that were only going to be a couple of weeks. So, without getting too much away, because I'm pretty sure that there'll be some Liversedge folk might see this. And we don't want to give them any clues, but I think that 5 or 6 of the players that were missing on Saturday will be back available. But yeah, you've mentioned it. Again, centre half. Wow, I've never known anything like it. I've literally got 4 centre halves being injured. Eddie Cass, as we know, long term. But some positive news on Eddie, and I'm really so pleased for the boy. He's been given the go ahead by the physios to potentially start training in a week to 10 days time.
Yeah.
Obviously, he'll still be a while away from the first team, but just the fact that he can get back on a training pitch, he's had some dark days with it. I'm sure he won't mind me saying, with this injury. He's been out well over 12 months, and he's still got a lot of hard work ahead of him. But hugely positive news for him personally, and from a mental side of things, to be able to get back on the grass and start training again. So hopefully we'll see Eddie. Maybe not before Christmas. It'll be a big ask, but hopefully not too long after that. And then obviously after Eddie, you've had Jack Cowgill, Det McGivern, Ross Killick. Ross looks like a lengthy casualty, but again, he seems to be quite optimistic and quite positive that hopefully the injury is not as bad as it were first feared. And he's obviously looking to try and get into to get a scan and see a consultant and try and establish, what he's actually done and the length of time he might be out. Jack's just felt his hamstring against Selby, so Jack will be okay. Det McGivern, maybe another week or 2. Obviously a new addition in Henry. Harry Gagan will be back available. So again, lots more options defensively because of that. Marcel, maybe only another week before he's back. George Green, fingers crossed. George Green, I think fingers crossed he'll be in the squad on tomorrow. So you can see the difference that makes, and with the greatest of respect, you go away to Mosley missing 9 players. It takes a big effort to try and overcome that, no matter how good your squad is. Again, on reflection, I think I think we can probably upgrade that performance, because I thought, particularly second half, I thought we were really, really good for 35 minutes of the 45. And if you actually look at the highlights and watch the game back, as I do, we created way more chances than in the game. And the story of the game is they've taken their chances and we haven't, and that's ultimately why we didn't get through. So despite the problems, there were positives. We trained on Tuesday. And the lads were fantastic in training. It was a really, really sharp and bright training session. I think they can sense that obviously this is an important game. We're not going to build it up to be anything that it's not. It's a local derby. I'm sure there'll be a big crowd in. It's not going to be season defining, so it's not the biggest game that we'll play this season. But it's an important one to try and get back on track. To try and put on a performance in front of, hopefully a big crowd, primarily, Ossett United fans, and just get over this little bit of a wobble that we're having. So the injuries and the new signings hopefully will people coming back from injuries and the new signings hopefully help us to put in a good performance and try and be the first team to beat Liversedge, because they've had a phenomenal start, and you've got to tip your hat to them. You respect what they've done, but we're more than capable of getting a positive result tomorrow night, and that's certainly what I'll be reminding the lads, before and during the game. If we perform to our potential, we don't fear anybody, and we feel like we can beat anybody. So we'll go and give it a go. Okay, so finally, then, just touching again briefly on tomorrow night, it's our first foray into Friday night football. 7:45 p.m. kickoff for those people watching the video. We know it's going to be big numbers. You've already alluded to that. What as a final parting this evening, what would be your message to those supporters tomorrow night? Just do what they always do. Get behind the team. In every game, you're going to have periods where you're on top, and you're going to have periods where you're under the pump a little bit. We know what to expect from Liversedge. They're a big, strong, physical team, and that presents its own challenges. We've got to compete. We've got to get the fans behind us. We've got to give them a performance that they can get behind and be vocal and noisy. The Stockton game is the perfect example. If they can see the lads putting everything in, putting that effort in, our fans are fair, and they'll back them to the hilt, and they'll get behind the lads. And I say it a lot. I say it in programme notes. I say it all over the place. The backing of 400, 500, 600 fans, you can't put a price on that. They really can be the 12th man. And like I said, there'll be tough times during tomorrow's game. And there'll be times when we're under pressure. And it's at those moments you need your fans. So just do what they normally do. Turn up in numbers, back the boys. Hopefully we can put on a performance that creates that atmosphere and gets the fans and the supporters behind us. We're acutely aware it's as I said, it's a derby. They're only 5 or 6 miles away up the road, and they've had a great start. So we're probably going as underdogs a little bit, but we feel confident that if we do our jobs properly and perform like we can, that we can get a positive result.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I'm certainly looking forward to it, and I know the supporters are as well. So thank you for your time this evening, Wayne. We'll let you crack on and get on with your tea, and we'll see you tomorrow. Best of luck for tomorrow.
What's up, man? Thanks, Greg.
Brilliant. Thanks, Wayne. Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate.